Robert has started recording. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar, I should say, on using AI to support dyslexia. Now, to set the scene, I thought I would use the Microsoft image designer to say, create me an image of what the classroom, an AI classroom, would be like in 10 years' time. So I thought I'd use that as my backdrop today. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's quite interesting. There's a couple of robot dudes there, you know, that look like they're enforcing law and order in the classroom. There's some drones, so teachers, you've got some drones in the classroom to look out for. And that's a pretty mega whiteboard as well, a data projector that's there too. So yeah, so you can see there's lots going to be happening in the AI classroom apparently. But in the middle of that, probably past my head, there is a teacher. So hey, things are looking good for teachers in the AI world. Great. Okay, so I'll share my screen and we'll get started on today. Include computer sound. And, okay, does that come across okay?
Yeah, all good.
All good. Okay, thanks. Okay, so when we advertised the course and when you signed up to it, this is what we advertised on the course. So it's looking how we can explore some examples of artificial intelligence that can be used to support learners with reading and writing difficulties. So we suggested that we'd look at CoPilot to improve voice typing and spelling, how we could use Google Lens to extract text from images, and also we've added a lot of, I'm going to add a lot of other things as well, hopefully if there's time to do it. So there's some really interesting things, and you can, you know, think about how these things can be used. And interesting, there's another Microsoft image creator on the right hand side, and that one was, I said, could you create a dyslexia AI classroom for people, learners with dyslexia? And this is what it's. So be careful what you ask for when you're working with asking with AI. And of course, that's part of the thing with AI, is that we're looking at what's called generative AI. And that's really depends on the sort of prompts that you put in, will depend on the kind of information that you receive. So you have to be really careful when you're creating prompts, and we'll demonstrate some of these things as we go on. When we talk about generative AI, you might be wondering, if you're new to this and haven't heard of generative AI before, this is a little 2-minute video, so I'll just play this and I'll just introduce you into the idea or the concept of generative AI.
What exactly is generative AI? When new content is created by artificial intelligence, it's called generative AI. This could involve generating texts and images, as well as videos, music, or voices. To do this, you describe in a chat dialog box what you want the AI to create. This description is called a prompt. The generative AI tools provide answers to all sorts of questions, summarize complex information, and generate diverse ideas quickly. Depending on how they're used, they can create short stories, paintings, pieces of code, or even musical compositions. The foundation for this creation lies in large amounts of data that the AI system accesses to identify patterns and similarities. The content produced by the AI is new. It's often impressive and challenging to distinguish from things humans have made. Generative AI can also be misused. In so-called deep fakes, AI is utilized to produce images or videos that seem real. AI-generated texts are also tough to recognize as machine-made. Moreover, the AI can provide answers that sound correct but are actually incorrect. This is called hallucinating. The quality of what's created depends on both the quality of the data used and the quality of the prompts given. To effectively utilize generative AI, we need to learn how to guide the tools with meaningful prompts and use them thoughtfully. Generative AI holds immense potential and can help us in many ways, such as serving as a writing or learning partner. However, the AI should do the hard work, and humans should be responsible for the facts.
So there you have it. I hope nobody will be hallucinating after this webinar, that's for sure. So when we're talking about generative AI, as the video mentioned there, we're talking about really data models, or something that's called large language models. And this is what the large language models are trained on. So it's huge amounts of text and images that are collated and collected together. And these are called large language models. And so what we have to be careful about when we're thinking about AI and generative AI is that the data quality is, as it says there, is critical to the model's accuracy and reliability. So for us as educators, as parents, and of children, we have to really think carefully about what machine learning, the advantages and the disadvantage of machine learning and generative AI might bring. So as the video said, it's only as good as its data. So we need to know who created and who designed the large language model. Is it accurate, and can we trust it? Does the language model have any bias? What about diversity? Lots of research now showing that AI is in fact not diverse as it should be. And what about privacy and security? DPIEs is a big thing now, just now. Will AI, generative AI, will it hold any of our people's information on their servers? Or so that's something we have to be. Do we become over-reliant on it? And what about learning to learn? Last week we had a workshop on, and this is an hour's workshop, so this is a condensed version, and somebody asked the question, really good questions, what about learners who have writing difficulties, but all of a sudden they're using generative AI and the writing's great. And it's a really important point. If you've got learners who are struggling to write, and then all of a sudden they're creating these wonderful works of art, of literacy, you think, oh, how did that happen? So that's quite an important thing to think about too. Of course, is it authentic? Has it been plagiarized? It's really difficult to tell, although there are authentic checkers now with AI, but can we trust them? And of course, there's emerging evidence now that just like the digital divide, there is an artificial intelligence divide as well in terms of class. Copyright, too, loads of copyright on some of this information. And what about the guardrails that we have for our children when they're accessing generative AI? And I'm sure you can think of others. So these are some links, and I think hopefully my colleague Kirstine is going to pop them into the chat. So some of them you've probably heard or might be familiar with. Of course, ChatGPT is the one that you hear most about, and a lot of the other ones are sometimes based on that language model of ChatGPT. Some of the ones I'm going to be showing today are CoPilot, Microsoft CoPilot, and Google Gemini, and Claude AI. And others include Jamworks, Describe, Goblin Tools, and Quillbot, and I'll be showing Quillbot. And my most favourite one is just brilliant, is Sora. Are those links in the chat now, Kirstine?
Not yet,
yeah,
but they will
not
be
yet.
shortly.
You're going there. Okay, sorry. So yeah, so I'll quickly show you what Sora is. And you can get a chance to explore some of those links if you're unfamiliar with them just in your own time. So let's have a look at Sora. So Sora is essentially a video model where you type in a sentence and it generates a video for you. It's really, really impressive. So let's just click on this. And the people who are developing it, you can see they're really considering about safety steps before they release that. It's not quite released, but it will be coming soon. So here's the sentence, a kangaroo. There's no audio to this, actually. So you just imagine this sort of fun that children will have with that. There's some puppies in the snow. And there's this brilliant one. If I just find along here, just go to here. It's not that one, actually. This is several giant woolly mammoths, slightly larger than a sentence, a paragraph. But isn't that impressive? So things to look forward to. It's not just about text, but it's also going to be, well, it's images as well, but also videos too. So that's Sora AI coming your way. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, what can generative AI do for me and my learners? Well, it can paraphrase text. So if you have lots of text, it can change the way that the text is. It can, or shorten the text. It can rephrase, possibly improve it. It's good for spell checking, and we'll do a comparison of some spell checkers. Great for grammar checking as well, and we'll be looking at that too. And these things taken collectively can really enhance writing. Dictation, we're probably all using Siri, we're maybe using Google Voice Typing or Dictate in Microsoft. So that's been around for a long time, or even Alexa, if you have Alexas and the digital assistants that you get. And text-to-speech is increasingly becoming more natural with a human-sounding. The one I've just shown there, text-to-video, is good. Flashcards as well, you can create flashcards, and we'll look at some examples of a close exercise that we can do towards the end. And I'm going to demonstrate how you can convert image into text as well, and really how we can maybe help learners to enhance their creative writing or give them ideas. Brainstorming, mind mapping, help with note-taking, and digital assistants, and quizzes, and lesson plans. So all in all, quite a lot actually, but you do find that it's much the same. There is a kind of, I've been sort of researching or preparing for this for a couple of months, and I find all these wonderful things. It's quite limited in what you can do, but in some ways it's really fantastic in what it can do. So I'm going to just sort of demonstrate some of the things that we can do. So I'll close the PowerPoint off, and I'll close that down, and I'm going to bring up Edge browser. And to start with, I'm going to actually, why not? I've got some texts ready here just to really save time and save me doing any typos. I'm going to ask the great oracle, how can AI help learners with dyslexia? So I'm going to just copy that into Microsoft Bing. So if you have Microsoft Edge, then you will have more likely Microsoft Bing, and you can see now it's integrated in there. Now, obviously, I'm using Windows, but just to the top right, CoPilot is integrated there. It's down at the bottom of my screen as well, so it's really all over Windows and now into Edge. But let's just use this. Let's say, ask anything. How can AI help with? Okay, and let's just ask to generate that. Let's go into Bing and do it properly. So let's go into Bing. Here we go. I'm just going to stretch that across into CoPilot. I'm going to pop that into the chat, and let's see what it comes up with. How can AI help learners with dyslexia? I'm afraid it's difficult to magnify the text here. It's just as it is. It's kind of limited to what you can do, but some of the information is quite good. Reading practice, multisensory input, focusing on sight words, and I quite like this one here. Personalized coaching at an affordable cost. That sounds good. AI-powered tutoring platforms. Oh, that all sounds very good. But so, well, let's maybe hopefully look at some more practical things that it can do. So one of the things, if I just bring up, is a while ago we had, if I just find dyslexia, we've got, just bring that back again. Let's close that down. We had a learner who, Hamish his name is, who actually really successfully used technology in school. He used an iPad, and this is his story here. So I thought I'd take that text, Hamish's text, because I wondered how Hamish would use AI in today's world, because that was back in 2015. So if I go to my up here, I've got my Hamish text for. I've taken that text. I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy that, and same thing as did before, back into CoPilot. And this time I'm going to use the compose feature that's in there, and I'm going to pop that into there, into the text there. And what I want to do, well, I want to maybe let's do a summary of that, and let's make it short. and then just generate that draft to see what it comes with. So this is an example of how AI can paraphrase or rephrase the text. Apologize if it's difficult to see it. Kind of stuck with that. It's going quite quickly now. But essentially, it is just really rewriting what he says. But we could maybe put that into bullet points, and let's make it funny and see what that does. So here we go, a tale of taps, swipes and gigabytes. Primary 5 tech whiz from homework helper to digital note taker. So that's really quite... You can, with a single tap, transform chaotic web pages into serene islands of information. Well, I wonder if he knew he could do that back then. So there you go. You know, it's something to have fun with as well. So the other thing I was thinking about is, what about creative writing? What if we have learners who want to write creatively, but maybe struggle just to get some ideas? So I came up with this example here is, please write me a funny story about an elephant, a banana, and the bicycles. And if you have any ideas yourself, put them into the chat, and maybe Christine can pass them on to see how they work. So let's pop this into CoPilot and into Compose again, and let's see how CoPilot creates this story. So I want this story to be funny, and I just want a summary. And let's generate that draft. And there it goes. Once upon a time, in a quirky corner of the jungle, there was an elephant named Ellie who had an unusual obsession with bananas. With a banana dangling from her trunk, Ellie mounted a bike. It was a wobbly start, with her large feet barely fitting on the pedals and her ears flapping for balance. Look at Ellie, giggled the monkey. She's going banana on that bike. I don't know about you, but isn't that just brilliant? It's just fantastic that it can, you know, create something like that. I mean, you know, if you wanted to get a story, or maybe we want to maybe just put that into bullet points and generate some ideas, we can really, you know, go crazy with some of the things it can do. So this is just going to bullet point it. And there, well, this time it's a banana yellow tandem bike. Seemed to be just perfect for her size. So great stuff there. And that's just using, I'm using just up here, it's just the icon just from there on Edge, and just clicking onto that. Again, just clicking onto that, and then using either the chat or the Compose to do that, to just get started. So let's click that off for just now and see what else we can do. So the other one I'd like to look at, mentioned, is how we can convert an image into text. So I've got an image here. So this is an image I found on volcanoes. Now, for a lot of learners who are maybe dyslexic, if there's text in an image, it's really difficult for them. You know, they might be struggling to read the text. Now, conventional text readers just won't read the text in images. So what we can then maybe do is maybe use AI to maybe convert that text and make it more readable. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up Google Chrome, and what I'm just going to have, so I've got the Google browser here, and what I'm interested is, I'll just zoom up so you can see it, is this one here, is Google Lens. Okay, so that will work across all devices, as much of these things will, because they're browser based. So whether you've got an iPad or a Chromebook or Windows, because these things are web-based, you can get access to them. So here's this one. Let's just get it up a wee bit more. Just click onto Google Lens, and I'm going to upload that file with the image. There it is there. And I have to say, it's actually quite a small image. The resolution on it is really poor. So you can see there, it's actually quite poor. So what I want to do is I want to I don't want to, well, you could search by image. So again, that might be useful for learners who struggle with writing, you know, finding things. You can just search. This is just not working. Yeah, okay, or what we want to do is extract the text from that document. So here I'm going to say select all the text. And there it's done there. So let's just listen to that text.
Volcanoes. Description.
Just put
A
the volume up a
volcano
bit
is an
so you can hear
opening
a
in
bit
the Earth's
better.
surface. It is a mountain that opens into a pool.
Let's just try it again and just listen.
An opening in the Earth's surface. It is a mountain that opens into a hot liquid.
So that's pretty good. And of course we can copy text and maybe put that into another application, or we could even, if we needed to, we can translate that text as well. There's an option to do that. But what's, I think, particularly good, if I just close that down, I'm going to bring up Edge this time and CoPilot. I just do that. And I'm going to use the same image. So I'm going to add an image at the bottom. I'm going to upload from the device. I'm going to save that and open it up. And there's the image there. So what am I going to ask it to do? Well, I've got, let me see, I think I've got some prompts there. Yeah, I'm going to say, please explain what this image is about. So I'm going to say to, please explain what this image is about. And let's see what it comes up with. It might take a bit of time to do that. Just the options as well as here, you know, you can make things more creative, more precise as well, depending on how you want it. So again, it's important about the sort of prompts that you give generative AI, so you get a good reflection of what you're doing. And just to notice as well, you know, you can use a microphone too. So as well as just putting text in or searching by images, you can use a microphone to dictate the text. So I'm going to come back to that in a minute. I'm just going to let it do its thing. But the other thing I was interested in showing you is this one called Claude AI. Let's see. I'm just going to just bring it. Okay, so here's Claude AI, and Kirsten put the link in for that. So what I wanted to do is see how it would cope with converting handwriting into text. So this is colleague Robert, who's on works for us at Call, and this is his handwriting here. Today at school, I learned about clads. There are 8 levels of clad thickness. So how did it cope with that? Well, actually, it did a really good job. And one of the good features about Claude AI is that you could get the dyslexia-friendly font as well, if that was needed. So that's did really, really good. If I go back a level, and if I look at my handwriting, now the reason I learned to touch type was because I had terrible handwriting. And you can see there, it's actually, there's my handwriting, embarrassingly. But look how good, it's not completely accurate, but compared to, you know, how bad my handwriting is, it's done not a bad job. So let's see what CoPilot has done with my image. So there you go, the image you've uploaded, so we can listen to that image.
The image you've uploaded is an educational material about volcanoes. It explains the following key points. Definition: a volcano is an opening in Earth's surface that leads to a pool of hot, liquid.
So that's really good, but I can maybe take it a level just up to the next level. So on this arrow where it says export, if I click onto export, what I want to do is send it to Microsoft Word. So if I send an image to Word, just give it time to export, doesn't take too long. Please sign in. It's worth waiting for, it really is. Okay, and there it is there. And there it's converted into Word, and it's also put some citations at the bottom. But of course, once you have it in the Word format, you could then, for example, just take it the next stage, and just in case, I'm going to show, if you think, well, is Immersive Reader AI? Yes, Immersive Reader is part of Microsoft Azure AI services, so it's certainly generated and powered by AI. So here it is. So what we can then do is go to View and say Immersive Reader, convert it into Immersive Reader, and then of course we can do all the other things where we can make things more accessible with the colors and fonts. We can then have a
CoPilot. The image you've
we can get some images on that as well. We get some hot, and let's find some lava. So from that image that we had, we've really, we've taken that step where AI's converted it into text, we've popped it into an Immersive Reader, and now we have something that's much more accessible. So that's really, I think, something that's really quite useful. So first we did that in Chrome. We used Google Chrome browser. This time we just used that in CoPilot. So you can also do it in, just show you, on the iPad. Now, I recorded this yesterday because when you mirror things over on the iPad, it doesn't show you everything. So this is using AI, generative AI on the iPad, and we're using here called live text. So I'm just into settings and general and live text under language and region. So once you've turned that on your iPhone or your iPad.
Craig, sorry, are you just watching the time?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Great.
So,
okay.
Thanks. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take a photo. So I took a photo of the iPad with that. And then I'm going to use, you can see the icon down at the bottom. That's the live text icon. And I'm just going to highlight that and then have it spoken back.
No, cats hate water.
It's really very good. I'm just going to fast forward it because I also took one from this book here. So you can see the text is really quite compressed, quite small. Doing the same thing, took a photograph of it, down to live text, clicked on live text, then identified the text, and
Going
then I
from his
used
memory of the map
speak.
he had studied on, the boat, that could be Loch Linny. Wish I'd brought that map now. That was silly of me. Watch the road. Toby's heart jumped as the van ahead suddenly braked.
So it's very, very powerful. I've still got quite a few things to show, but never mind. So so one of the things that I'd wanted to show today was let me see if I got this text here. Just let me see. Yeah, it's a dictation example. So if I go back down to my notes, I had, this is some text I dictated with Microsoft Dictate, and I did what most learners do when they're using it. They just kind of blurt out the text. So when the text came out, it didn't have any. There was no grammar. There was no exclamation marks. There was no speech marks. Nothing. So I'm going to take this text. I'm going to copy it, and I'm just going to, again, just what we did before. I'm going to go into Microsoft AI, see, and let's just refresh that. And let's just ask to be anything. So I'm going to say, please correct this text I dictated with proper speech marks and quotations. And let's see what it comes up with. And there you go. It's just brilliant. It's got that almost perfectly done. I was intending on doing some spelling comparisons, but we're kind of out of time. But there is one last thing, again, just to show, and this is maybe how you can maybe create a close activity for students. So let's just refresh that again. So this time what I'm going to ask CoPilot to do is to say, please generate a fill-in-the-blank worksheet based on whether the Romans invaded Scotland with 5 questions and spacing so students can write their answers. So let's do that. see. So this time it hasn't actually generated the fill in the blanks. But if we just quickly hop over to Gemini, Google Gemini, and let's just do the same thing. Ask it here and just to do the same thing. There you go. It's done the blanks. And at the bottom, it's created the answer key as well. So it's just fantastic stuff. Just very, very quickly before we go out, I had intended on doing some spell checking and looking at different. So there's looking at, let's just get rid of this. Looking at Quillbot, which is a dedicated AI grammar checker and spell checker, Grammarly as well, and looking at that. But you can see they all tend to have the red line of doom. Looking at how you can convert audio into text as well as another good one as well. So that was some of the things, but I'm probably gone over my time. Sorry about that. Will I stop sharing now? See if there's any questions.
Yep, that was great,
Yeah,
Craig.
okay.
It was a big ask to do that in 30
Yeah,
minutes or 20 minutes. I'll let you. I did give you a few more.
Thank you.
Yeah. So lots of good feedback. I think you've blown a few minds actually. Yeah. Lots of different tools. Some people saying, unfortunately, CoPilot doesn't work at school. And is there a significant difference between the quality of different AI tools?
Well, certainly, for example, CoPilot has the same feature as Chrome, where you can upload an image, Google Lens, but it doesn't generate the text from the image. So they're all much. The spell checkers are all much of a muchness. But do I have time just to show one thing really quickly? Go on.
Go on then.
Go on. Okay. Yeah. Right. So just let me share this really quickly. Okay. So I was mentioning the various spell checkers. Okay, that we've got. So there's, it highlights the text in Grammarly and it highlights, but it doesn't. It kind of misses out, a lot of those texts. So if I take that text, that same text with all those spelling mistakes, it hasn't really done anything fantastic. And let's go into, let's just quickly. And then I'm going to ask really just to get that text. I think I've got it here. Full tools, yeah. Just going to say, pop that in. And I'm going to ask it to say, let me see. Yeah, please check the spelling in this document. So I'm going to do that and paste that text in. And then you can see there's some quite poor spelling errors in there. Some of them just didn't recognize it. But when I stick it into CoPilot or even Gemini, it fixes everything. Use and all the words that these others missed out, it's got them all there. So for spelling, it's really, really powerful for that. Right.
Someone's asking, Craig, if you've made any help sheets yet with a step-by-step process.
I haven't, but
yet, I think is the key word there.
Well, I'm going to write a blog tomorrow. So
there we go.
So
a blog to follow. Yeah, really informative. A source for effective prompts. It's funny actually, because that kind of was going through my head when you were talking. Like you and I both read a similar thing that said we should be polite to the bots and say please and things. But I remember this when I was teaching children to use search engines, and it made me think very similarly that it very much is what you put in your prompt is helps what you get back.
I don't know if everyone noticed, but I was very polite. I said please in every prompt, because you never know, in 5 years' time they might take their revenge on us. Certainly if you've been watching any Arnold Schwarzenegger films, that could be the case.
What else? Somebody saying that live text isn't on their iPad Gen 7.
Yeah,
Asking if it's
right. Okay. I'm not sure about it. It does require, they do tend to be slightly newer ones.
yes.
But of course, you could use Google Lens on the iPad to do it just the same. So it's a bit of a workaround, but Google Lens on Safari browser will do the same job.
Yep, just lots of compliments. People going away to try things out now. I think that's.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So
that's good.
That just remains for us to say thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. Thanks, Craig. That was great.
Thank you.
And,
sorry I didn't get it all finished.
Well, we look forward to reading it, bite it in the blog. Yeah, it is. It was a really hard ask to condense so much into such a short session, so you did a fab job. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And Robert will ensure that the recording is sent out to all those that registered as well. So thanks very much for joining us, everybody, and have a good evening.
Thanks, Eve. Bye. Bye.